Okay, so welcome to this evening's call. My name is Kelvin, and you are welcome to this evening's call. We are going to learn a lot about ourselves and our business and the way forward. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be challenging as well. I love challenges, Charlie, because challenges bring out the best in you. Challenges push you to take yourself to the next level. Challenges are like exams that you write from class 1 to class 2 or from class 6 to GSS1 or whatever, to get your first class, second class or whatever. So I love challenges, and over the past couple of months, I've been challenged to become a better version of myself. And if you have been following our various training courses, you realize that there's a difference in even how I approach certain things now because of the enlightenment and the exposure I'm getting. And I'm happy that I have the opportunity to share this new light, this new experience with all of you. And together we can grow, together we can become better people, and together we can earn significant income as we become more valuable, as people demand our services, or the people demand to be in our presence, people demand to share in our values, so that we can actually get to our target where we actually create significant wealth that all of us can participate and partake and carry to the next and leave it on to the next generation. This evening is no different. We are going to have a discussion, just like we've been doing, a discussion on how to better ourselves, or why we need to better ourselves, why we need to improve ourselves, so that we can actually, build the capacity that we need to actually own the space that we are trying to move into. Very, very important. You see, until you have the capacity, until you acquire the knowledge and the skill and the contact that you need to get to the next level, you cannot just get up and appear in the next level. You see, because if you are unable to repeat your results, it means that the first result that you got was not yours to begin with. What that means is that the process is much more important than the result, because it is the process that you're going to teach to your team. It's the process that you're going to teach the people that come in after you, so that they can also begin to duplicate and replicate whatever you are doing today. So if the process is missing from your result, then that result in itself is useless. It's kind of like somebody who goes to win a lottery. You cannot teach how to win lottery. You see, there's no process to winning lottery. You just went to buy a ticket, or you just went to put some random numbers together, even though some lotto doctors claim that they can permutate and probably use probability to determine which numbers are going to pop. You and I know that it's just a game of chance. And so if you cannot teach how to win in a game of chance, it's just, as the name suggests, chance. So you win some, you lose some, you move on. Just don't dwell on it, because you cannot teach the process. And so if you fail in acquiring the process, you fail to acquire the knowledge, the result you may get the result one time, but you can never repeat that result. And that is why we must build our capacity, we must build our foundation, so that we can actually elevate ourselves to the point where we are now fit to receive the result, fit to receive the desires of our heart. The heart desires, but it is the mind that will get you from where you are to that desired destination. So let's work on our mind and we'll get there. So this evening, we are talking about yes, you must. If you're on the call last week, we spoke about yes, you can. And we laid a foundation as to why you already have the ability, you already have the capability to become that which you want to be. We already laid that foundation. Now, if you missed that, the video is on the YouTube channel. I've shared the link already. Do go check it out and see what we are talking about, and then build on to that with what we are going to share today, because what we are sharing today is the next level after what we did last week. And we are talking about yes, you must. Obviously, once you can, then you can, you know that you can do it. But are you going to do it? Even though you know that you can do it, the question is, are you actually going to do it? And I'm telling you today that yes, you must do it. You must actually do what you are put here to do. It is not a request. It is not a suggestion. It is something that you have to do, because there is a demand on you to make it happen. And that is why I said, when you're coming on this call, you must bring your Bible. This is indeed my Bible. It's right here with me. And you're going to learn a few things from this book tonight, devoid of religion, devoid. It doesn't matter whether you're a Christian, whether you're a Muslim. The Bible is a reference book for a lot of people. Businessmen actually refer to the Bible because there's a wealth of knowledge in there. So I'm not going to be reading this Bible to you as a religious book per se, but there's a lot of insight in this book that we can use to hone our business skills and take ourselves to the next level. So we are going to share a lot about that. If you have a Bible, let's get ready, because it's going to be hot in this place. Tonight we are not playing at all. We are not joking. And so we are saying that yes, you must actually go ahead and achieve the things that you are put here to achieve, because you already know that you have the ability, you have the capability, you have the capacity. You've already been given all these things even before you were born. And we know this because we discussed it last week. So now we are saying that, yes, you have the ability. Now go ahead and achieve those things. Go ahead and do those things. It's very, very important for you to actually do that, because if you fail to do that, basically your presence on earth was just a waste of air, period. There's no nice way of putting this this information. I'm just saying, if you fail to do some things, if you refuse to do it, your presence on this earth is just as good as nothing. Why are you praying for long life if you're not even utilizing the short life you've been given? It is when you utilize the little that more will be added to it. If you're not utilizing the little, then why would there be a need to add more to you? It is important that you fulfill what you've been given. Of course, you might ask, how do I know what I'm supposed to fulfill? But that's a lecture for another day. But many of you are here in this place, and I know that you have an idea what you have to do. So you're just going to go straight to it. But there's a question one may ask: what has all these sessions that we are having, this you can, you must, all these Bible things, what has it got to do with our business? This our so-called mass business already. What is the connection? Well, I'm going to give you my aim for this evening. I'm going to tell you why I think these sessions are important. And at this point, I'm sure you should be making some notes, because I've dropped some heavy points already. If you're not making notes, you are missing out already. So there are some points I want you to understand. Well, first of all, we need to understand these basics. We need to have these foundations, because your presence in this company, your presence in this team is not a mistake. You didn't just mistakenly meet somebody and mistakenly decide to join this business or this team. No, it's not a mistake. You are here because you are meant to be here. There's something in this business, there's something in this organization that you need to learn before you move on to your next thing. There's something, some knowledge, some connection, some relationships that you need to build, some heights that you need to reach, some income that you must earn in this place, in this business, at this time, in this year 2021. Something here that you must acquire before you move on. If you fail to acquire that thing, that experience, that opportunity, that relationship, that progress, if you fail to get this thing, you will always look back to this point, this business, this opportunity as that thing, that missed opportunity, the one that got away. And we don't want to live a life of regret. We want to live a life where we can look back and say, indeed, I enjoyed my life to the full, and I'm happy with the decisions I made. That's the kind of statement we want to make 10 years, 20 years, 50 years from today. We want to make sure that we have actually lived a full life. So that's the first reason why these sessions are important. The second reason is that when we've accepted point number one, then number one is what I just spoke about, the fact that you are here, your presence here is not a mistake. When you accept that point that it is indeed true, then you realize that succeeding is a must. You must succeed, because why else would you stay in the business if you are not succeeding? So you must succeed. Or even if you don't succeed, at least you must try. You must put in your best. You must put your best foot forward. You must put your best foot forward. You cannot do this business half-heartedly. You cannot do this business on a try and see basis. You cannot do this business on an experimental basis. No, the business rewards you based on how much you invest into that business. And the only way you can invest seriously into that business is when you recognize that this is indeed a serious business and it can get me to the next stage of my life. The next stage of my life, this business can actually be that stone that you can step on to get to the next stage of your life. And once you understand this, then you need to put your best foot forward. So because of these two reasons, that is why we are having these sessions over the past couple of weeks. And I hope that you have been getting some value from them. I hope that it's been changing your approach to doing things, because it definitely has been changing my approach. And I'm hoping that as we go through more of these sessions, you will realize the potential that we have at our disposal, and you begin to express that potential in an amazing way, and you actually reap the benefits of it. So let's get started. So our first what they call verse you're going to read, and at this point, you have a Bible. Please show your Bible to the camera. Please show your Bible to the camera. Let me see those who have their Bibles. I'd like to know who brought their Bibles to this session. So put on your camera and show me your Bible. I'd like to know who's with me. Go ahead. Don't be shy. Don't be shy at all. Let's do this. Put on your camera. Let me see your Bible. This is my Bible. It's going to be awesome. All right. So we are going to go open with me to Genesis 1:28. Genesis chapter 1 verse 28. I'm going to read for you, but I mean, of course, if the Bible is yours, you want to underline a few things because, Charlie, there are some deep words in this book. And if you have time, read the book of Genesis, Charlie. As a businessman, the book of Genesis is solid. Then follow that up with the book of Proverbs. Amazing points in there. Okay, Genesis 1:28. I'm skipping the first couple of lines, but basically it says that then God blessed them, and God said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth and subdue it, have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, over every living thing that moves on the earth." Over every living thing that moves on the earth. This is the charge that God gave to Adam when Adam was created. In fact, we touched on this last week, and we are going a bit deeper this week. When Adam was created and God breathed the breath of life into his nostrils, and he woke up, he became alive. The first thing he heard was, "Be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth, subdue it, and have dominion." Now, if the Bible is yours, if your Bible is a good Bible, you realize that after "be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth, subdue it," there's a semicolon. There's a semicolon after "subdue it." And after that semicolon, it says "have dominion." Now, if you're an English student, you understand that when you see a semicolon, whatever comes after the semicolon is trying to explain what has come before that semicolon. So it is trying to tell you that to have dominion, you need to be fruitful, you need to have multiplied, you need to have filled the earth, you need to have subdued the earth, and then you can have the dominion that we are looking for. And some Bible scholars have said that if you have dominion, or that the truest form of worship that you can actually give to God is when you actually have dominion. It's when you're actually dominating in your industry, dominating in your space, being the best of what you are, or the best of what you can ever be. That is when you actually give God truest form of worship. Unfortunately, many of us interpret worship in so many bizarre ways. We think that worship is about going to church Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or there's so many different interpretations of when it comes to worship that it's amazing. But the Bible is telling you what your purpose on earth is. Your purpose on this place, God created you to have dominion, and he gave you the steps you need to follow to actually have dominion, which then means that if you are in this business as an associate, as a business builder, with the intention to create wealth, it is expected of you to be fruitful. And being fruitful doesn't just mean give birth to children. No, it doesn't mean give birth to children. You can be fruitful in so many ways. Fruitfulness in your mind, your speech, your hands, every part of your body can be fruitful. But you have identified that you want to do this business. You have to be fruitful in doing this business. You have to learn how to do the business. You have to teach your teammates. You have to acquire the skills and the knowledge you need to build this business successfully. And as you are fruitful, you begin to multiply yourself. That's when we talk about duplication and replication. And as you begin to do that, you begin to fill the earth. You have your team spreading across the from Ghana to Nigeria to Ivory Coast to South Africa to Kenya to wherever. You are filling the earth with people like you. And as you do that, you begin to subdue it. And as you do all of these things, that is when you realize that you are having dominion. Think about this. If people at the top of their game, people at the top of their industry, if they put words on Facebook, Instagram, how powerful are they? Imagine Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi. Messi moved from Barcelona to PSG, and the website of PSG crashed because everybody was going there to check what's going on. Ronaldo moved to Manchester United, and the whole world is making so much noise. Imagine if any of these people did an Instagram live or Facebook live and said that they are accrediting their success to God. How powerful do you think that statement would be? How many people would actually rush to look for who this God or who this Jesus is based on that statement alone? Because they are dominating in their industry. They are more powerful in their speech. When they talk, Cristiano Ronaldo shifted a bottle of Coca-Cola, and Coca-Cola dropped shares. Share price actually fell. That is dominion. That is having dominion. You and I should aspire to get to that level of domination, that our words are so powerful that we move crowds, we move people just by speaking. That's what we are talking about. And that's when you give God the true form of worship. Worship is not when you are broke and desperate and you go to church and they say pray and then you pray all the tongues that you can pray. No. Truest form of worship, and worship simply means service anyway. Service. Truest form of service is when you have the ability to decide not to do something, but you do it anyway because of the benefit you see if you see that service rendering unto others, not unto yourself. Many of us go to church, many of us do things because of how it will benefit us. That is because we are in a desperate position. We need the thing to work for us to have our daily bread. That is not worship. That is actually just complying with what is happening. If you don't go to work today, you don't get paid. So we go to work not because we love the work, but because we need to get paid. And so we go to work. That is not true service. True service is when you have significant money already, but you still choose to go to work because you are not going to, because you are not moved by money anymore. You are going to work because of the service you are rendering to those at your disposal. That's what we are talking about. And so the foundation to this whole thing is that you are expected to have dominion. God has already instructed that you must have dominion. It's not a suggestion. It is a rule. He has told you that you must have dominion. It is not negotiable. So take it out of your mind. It's not a suggestion that you should try to decide to have dominion. You must have dominion. That is all. And once you have dominion, then you can begin to interact properly with the things of God, because that is the level you are supposed to be operating on anyway. It's a given. You are a powerful creation, and must begin to live life on your own terms. So that's just by the way. Let's go to our next quotation in Matthew. Yes, now from Genesis to Matthew, all the first books. That's what we are doing today, from Genesis to Matthew. So now let's go to Matthew. In Matthew chapter 14, and this is where we actually see specifically why you must do whatever it is that you are involved in. And that's Matthew chapter 24, verse 14, where it talks about the parable of the talents. Now it's a very long scripture. I'm just going to touch on a few, pick and choose a few places. I'm sure many of you have read this before, but we are still going to read anyway. So, for the kingdom of heaven is like a man traveling to a far country, who called his own servants and delivered his goods to them. To one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1. The question is, why didn't God give all these people the same number of talents? Have you stopped to ask yourself this question? Well, the answer is still in that verse anyway, but think about it. This is God, and he calls 3 people and he gives them talents. He gives one 5, he gives one 2, and he gives another 1. Why didn't he give each of them the same talent? Why? How come you know how to play the guitar but you can't play the drums? How come you are good at accounting but you're not good at singing? How come you are good at time management but you're not good at keeping friends? How come you didn't get everything that you needed to succeed immediately? Because to each of these people, God gave them according to their ability. According to their ability. If you go to the book of Romans, you realize that there's a phrase, a text there that says that you will not be tested beyond what you can bear. God knows your ability. He knows what he has put inside of you. And so when he's placing a demand on you to have dominion, he knows that you can actually have dominion in your industry. That's why that demand is placed on you. Sometimes we ask ourselves, why me? But why not you? Why not you? You are struggling in your business, and so what? Why not you? Everybody has struggled in their business at some point. What did they do? How did they come out of it? They first of all came to a realization that they can do it because their ability to do it has already been given to them. They already have the capacity. What is missing is the knowledge. And so all you have to do is to learn how to do it. Learn how to get better at wherever it is that you are failing at. In fact, understanding of realizing that you don't know it, that's actually the first step to becoming wise. Once you realize I don't know this, that's number 1. You've already cleared number 1. In fact, you are 50% through. So as you have identified that I don't know this, the next thing to do is to go and learn how to do it. Don't sit down and say, because I don't know how to do it, I'm not going to do it, and I'm not going to do it at all. That is foolishness. You have to learn how to do it because God knows you can do it. That's why he gave it to you. That's why he put you in charge. Anyway, let's get back to our test. And so when God came, after his travels, he came, but when the king now returned, he called the people together and he asked them, and then to give an account of whatever they had achieved. Then the first one said, Lord, you delivered to me 5 talents. Look, I have gained 5 more talents beside them. And then the Lord said to him, well done, good and faithful servant. Now I want you to take note of this thing, good and faithful servant. We'll come back to it a bit later. Then the next person now came and said that, Lord, you delivered to me 2 talents. Look, I have gained 2 more talents beside them. And the Lord said to them, well done, good and faithful servant again. Then the third guy now comes, and you know the story. He says that he knows that his Lord was wicked, and so he didn't do anything with the talent. He went to hide it, dig a hole and put it inside the hole. Well, guess what? And so so the Lord said that, so then the Lord answered and said, you wicked and lazy servant, you knew that I reap where I have not sown and gather where I have not scattered seed. So you ought to have deposited my money with bankers, and at my coming I would have received back my own with interest. Which means that you see, the first guy who got 5 went and got another 5 to add, and God called him faithful. He called him faithful servant. The second guy also went and did the similar and added to whatever God had given him, and God called him also faithful. Then the one who kept whatever God gave to him, he kept it the same and brought it back to God. And God called him wicked servant. And so you see, in our daily activities, when somebody talks about faithfulness, when you go to church and they discuss faithfulness, they don't define faithfulness in the way the Bible is actually defining faithfulness. Faithfulness to God is when you actually take what God has given you, make the best out of it, and present that best back to God. That God, you gave me A, and I've improved A and made it A prime, and so I'm bringing to you A prime. That is what God expects of us. Faithfulness in God's eye is when you improve on what He has given you and make it a better version, because He knows you can. That's why He gave it to you. If you fail to improve what God has given you, if you fail to build this business the way it is meant to be built, and you do it anyhow, and you don't achieve the success that is expected of you, if you go back to God and you present to Him what He gave you in the same state He gave you or in a worse state, He will call you wicked servant. You don't know this because you have never thought about your business in this light. But guess what? I'm bringing you to the realization that you are here today not by accident. You are here today because it was part of your process. It is part of your process that is going to get you from where you are now to where you need to be, to pass through this business, to pass through this team, to learn and acquire skill that is going to help you to become that person that God expects of you to become. The only reason why you are struggling is because you are not learning. You are not adding value to yourself. You are not improving your knowledge base. You're not improving your skill set. And so you are struggling with basic things, the nitty-gritties. By now, we should be doing bigger things, but we are still dealing with auto-shipping and non-auto-shipping issues. That is such a basic thing that it cannot be expected to hold us back. We need to be thinking bigger. We need to be going higher. We need to be going farther. That is what your business requires of you. If you fail to do that, you are a wicked servant. And do you know what God does to the wicked servant? He says that he said that He's going to cast the unprofitable servant into the outer darkness. And sometimes you wonder why you are praying and you're not getting an answer. Because God has already given you everything you need. Everything you need has been given to you. You have to go and learn how to apply yourself and get the best out of whatever you have been given. And stop complaining, because complaining doesn't put food on your table. You are not a pundit. You are not what they call those things. You are not a critic. It's only critics who get paid for complaining. They'll complain that if it's a food critic, they'll complain that the food is bad and they'll still get paid. You are not a critic. You don't get paid for criticizing. You don't get paid for complaining. So stop making a career out of complaining. It's not going to change anything about you. In fact, it's going to make you bitter. It's going to make you ungrateful. It's going to hold you back, because you're not going to see the bright star ahead of you. You're not going to see the good things right in front of you. Others are still coming into this business today and they are making significant money. Other foreigners are coming into Ghana today and they are starting businesses in this same Ghana, and they are prospering in this Ghana. But we Ghanaians are leaving Ghana to other places because we don't see what is before us. We don't see what's in front of us. And so long as we are looking to other countries, we will never see what is here. But guess what? The Indians are coming here, the Lebanese are coming here, the Americans are coming here, the Russians are coming here, because there's something here that is good. We were put here to capitalize on those things, but because we are looking elsewhere, we are not seeing it. We are right here, but others are coming to prosper right here in the very place that we are living. It's amazing. It's so amazing. It's disappointing at the same time. But hey, I don't know how we're going to overcome this. But it starts with recognizing that we have been given the ability, we have been given the capacity to improve whatever it is that God has given to us. And so let's begin to work on that right now from today. Let's go on to Proverbs. Of course, we can't talk sense and not talk about Proverbs, because Proverbs is where all the sense is. and so let's go to Proverbs. Let's wrap this up in Proverbs. Now, open with me to Proverbs chapter 13, verse 22. Proverbs 13, 22. And this verse actually blew my mind. The first time I read this verse, it was something else. I mean, it made me sit upright. And for those of you who have never seen or heard this verse before, I'm hoping that you get the same experience. You understand? Proverbs chapter 13, verse 22. And this goes to you, the men in our midst, especially because this was very specific. But of course, you also know that in the Bible, man doesn't only refer to man. If man is unisex, so the women listen to a good man. A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. Hmm. A good man, a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. Not his children. No, the Bible didn't say leave an inheritance to your children, because who cares? Everybody, you don't have a choice. You have to leave something for your children. But it's saying that for you to be called a good man, you must leave an inheritance for your children's children. That means your second generation must benefit from whatever you are doing today. So whatever you are doing today, right this minute, today, this week, this September 2021, whatever you are doing today must benefit your children's children. Obviously, when we say inheritance, we are not looking for the negative inheritance, because it's possible that you are going to leave a debt that they'll come and pay. We don't want that. We are talking about inheritance that is going to take a family from poverty to wealth. That's the kind of inheritance you are talking about. And the first time I heard this verse, it hit me very hard. And I mean, imagine if all our parents, all of us on this call today, if our parents were aware of this verse, do you think that we will be where we are today? Many of us, the kind of inheritance that our people have left for us are inheritance that are weighing us down. Many of us, especially if you are firstborn, secondborn, or you are the first to go to complete university, the first to get a job, you have the responsibility of taking care of those after you. Really? In fact, they've institutionalized it where it is expected that once you get a job, you look back and help those after you. Where is that even acceptable? It's not acceptable. Where was I there when they were having their jiggy? I wasn't there. So why do I have to come and pay for somebody's enjoyment? It's not fair. But that is the culture that we find ourselves in. And because of that singular act, that culture expectation, many of us are weighed down with responsibility that is not of our creation. And it stays with us so long that by the time we also have children, we also leave that same responsibility to them. So whereas others are leaving $1 million to their children, we are leaving a burden onto our children. Well, guess what? The Bible is telling us, and most of us on this call are Christians, thankfully, the Bible is telling us that a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. So now let's bring it home. Many of us have dreams of becoming wealthy, but we find ourselves in places of work or places of employment where even the person who owns the company, himself or herself, is not a wealthy person. So if you find yourself surrounded by people who are not wealthy, why are you expecting to become wealthy by doing the things that they did and didn't become wealthy? I actually have a quote. Let me read this quote for you that I put down here. I'll find it shortly. It says that stupidity is when you keep failing, but you still keep doing it the same way. You keep doing the thing the same way, you keep ending up with a roadblock, and you still decide to do it the same way, expecting that when you get there, the roadblock would have magically disappeared. That is stupidity. I'm not saying go and quit your job, but I'm telling you that you must check your vision against the vehicle that you find yourself in. If the vehicle that you find yourself in has never delivered wealth to whoever it is that has used that vehicle, it is impossible for you to acquire wealth or achieve wealth in that same vehicle. It's not going to happen. It won't work. So if you are in a place or you come from a family where nobody is wealthy and you are still listening to advice on those same people who themselves are not wealthy about how to create wealth, it's not possible. You cannot, and this is another thing, you cannot create wealth, you cannot achieve wealth by running away from poverty. No, because whatever you are running from will keep pursuing you. Whatever you are trying to escape from will keep pursuing you. What you should be doing is that you should be wealth-oriented. You should focus on acquiring wealth. Forget about what is happening around you. Forget about where you are coming from. It is about where you are going, not where you are coming. And so your goal should be, I'm creating wealth, not escape from poverty. Many of you joined our business, and if I ask you your why right now, you will tell me that you are trying to create a better, you are trying to escape poverty. Most of us, our why has to do with escaping from poverty. But whatever you are trying to escape from will keep chasing you. And so instead of, it's all about changing your perspective. That's all it is, changing your perspective. And that makes so much of a difference. You cannot learn to be successful by learning how not to fail. No, you learn how to be successful by doing exactly that, learning what successful people have done, not by learning how people feel, how to avoid failure. No, if you learn how to avoid failure, all you know how to do is avoiding failure. You don't know how to forge ahead. You don't know how to forge ahead. It's kind of like playing football. It doesn't matter how bad. It does not matter how bad your defense is, so long as your attack is scoring goals. If your attack is able to score one more goal than they concede, you will win that match. And so you cannot learn how to. You cannot become successful by learning how to avoid failure. No, you learn to become successful by doing what successful people do. And every successful person will tell you that the wealth is in people. Wealth is in people. Wealth is in people. You find yourself in a business which actually is built on the backs of people. You succeed in this business by enabling other people to succeed. You don't find this anywhere else. Every other industry, succeeding requires you to undercut or undermine or pull somebody down or jump over somebody. It is only in our business that your success is dependent on how much value you give to your teammates. In this business, you only succeed if you help other people, if you teach other people, if you encourage other people, if you give them good products to help improve their health, then you are becoming successful. So you're actually succeeding by impacting other people's lives. And that is what would lead you to wealth, to create wealth. Every wealthy person will tell you that the wealth is in the people. It's in the network of people that you surround yourself with. And you'll be making this statement by yourself that if you surround yourself with 5 poor people, you'll be the number 6 poor person. And it doesn't click that your network is what determines where you're going. If your network is always talking about negative things, you cannot be a positive person. It's not possible. If you claim you're a positive person, automatically your network will change. If you want to attract a certain kind of people into your business, you have to change how you think, because you attract people who think like you, people who think and act like you. And so if all the people you are bringing into your business are quitting the business, it's because you yourself are a quitter. And so you need to check yourself, check your DNA, check your mindset, fix it. And how are you going to fix it? Read books. How many books have you read this month? I just got these books today. Just today. In the past 2 months, my library has doubled because I'm trying to improve myself. I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to become a better person so I can attract better people into my organization. And so that's what I'm doing to myself. This evening, just today, I've got myself books to go and read and to improve myself, to shape my mindset, because I know where I'm going to. And where I'm going to, I need people who have been there before to show me how to get there. And that is why I need you to understand that we are in a different dimension. If you want to become successful, you have to do what successful people do. You have to do what other successful people are doing to get yourself to where you need to get to. It is very, very important. It's not going to happen by accident. It's not going to happen by accident. It's going to take deliberate action. You need to begin to read. This book of the law shall not depart from your mouth. It is required for you to understand this thing in context. You need to read this in your own context. We go to church, the pastor who has done the research will come and give you information. You take that information and go around and start making confessions. And then guess what? You don't benefit from the confession you're making because it didn't come from you. Because value always returns to the source. And so the pastor keeps getting richer, the congregation is not getting richer, and you wonder what is going on. The pastor is not taking your money. No. The pastor is giving value to you, and you are repeating that value to everybody around you. And guess what? The value keeps going back to the pastor, because nature, the world knows that once value leaves, the value must return to the source. So the value keeps going back to the source, the one who produced that value. And so the pastor keeps getting richer, and then the congregation keeps getting poorer. It's all in the Bible. I'm not quoting these things. I've read it myself. You understand? And so it's not surprising that most of the time the pastors are so rich, the congregation is so poor, because the congregation is just repeating what the pastor is saying. They haven't actually spent time to go to the same Bible to go and research whether what the pastor is even saying is true. They have not made the message their own, and yet they expect to get the returns of the confessions. Confessions don't do anything. You see, because when you profess, when you do the words of affirmation and it goes out in the world, yes, it's good. It will come back to you because you spoke it. Then to come and check your mindset. Is this mindset actually the correct mindset? When it comes in there, they realize that there's nothing to back the affirmation you were saying. So he said that I'm the best. I'm super this, I'm going to be rich. But in your mind, there's nothing, there's no information in there to support your statement that you're going to be rich because you're not reading. The magic of thinking big, you don't even know how to think big because when you start thinking big, then you remember your parents telling that stop thinking big, stop dreaming because at least we can't afford that dream. And so then the affirmation comes back and it doesn't achieve anything because there's nothing to be achieved. There's nothing in there to support that affirmation. And so I'm challenging you today, if you want to see progress in your business, you need to begin to change your mindset. Whatever you want to achieve, you need to aspire, you need to look for people who have achieved it and ask them questions. Ask questions. How do you do it? How can I become like you? And read about it. Read about how to do this, prospecting, inviting. Read about the things that need to be done. I mean, listen, everything you need to succeed has been given to you already. It is up to you to decide that you actually want this. And do not make excuses. Go out there and fight for it. The drive to become who you want to become is not for me to tell you. It's inbuilt, it's innate, it's inside of you. The motivation must come from within. If you need me come and tell you to wake up and prosper, then you missed it. Because when you prosper, it's not for me, for yourself. It's for you. When I prosper, it's for me. It's not for anybody else. And so I need to do this for myself so that I can leave an inheritance to the second generation, sorry, because it's expected of me. It's a demand that has been placed on my life to make sure that I do not leave this earth without leaving an inheritance for my children's children. And keep in mind that if the inheritance, whether you like it or not, you will leave an inheritance, but is it going to be a positive inheritance or a negative inheritance? A positive inheritance will not happen automatically. It will not happen by default. You have to make it happen. All right, guys. I think I've exceeded my time. I wanted to do this in 30 minutes, and I've gone on and on and on and on. So we are going to end it here. I hope that you got some value from this session that you joined, and I hope that you're going to begin to turn your life around. I mean, Charlie, you have to get books. You have to find people to model. You have to find people to follow after them. You have to want to be. You have to want to achieve the success that you desire. Because desire is in the heart. Desire comes from the heart, but it is your mind that will get you to that desire. And the mind needs food, and the food that the mind needs is things that will enrich the mind, things that will enrich your content, things that will enrich your vision, things that will push you from where you are now to where your heart wants you to be. So don't leave your life to chance. Don't leave your future to chance. You need to create the future. You need to create the circumstances that you want that are going to push you from here and motivate you to get to that future that you have set for yourself. It starts with you sitting down, actually writing down your vision. What is your vision for yourself? What's your vision for your team, your downline? What's your vision for the future? Where do you see yourself? Write it down. It is the vision must be written on tablets, not kept in the mind. It must be written down because it's only when you write it down that it becomes real to you. You look at it every day and this is what I want to do. And as you do that, as you confess it every day, as you read books that will help you to get to that destination, automatically things begin to fall in line for you. Because like I said, everything you need for success is already available to you. It is because you have not identified where you're going. That's why the whole thing is jumbled up. Once you have clarity of purpose, clarity of mind, you will find the help that you need. All right, guys, thank you very much. It's been an awesome time. I'm happy that you made time to join us. Once again, my name is Kelvin. I'm happy you are here. We are going to do awesome things together. We're going to do amazing things together. I'm super excited. If you are ready to do amazing things together, please go ahead and type ready in the comment section and let me know who is with me this evening.